For nearly 3 decades, people have been screaming, Mortal Kombat! This game, and the stamp it's left on the gaming industry as a whole, will never be forgotten. But today, we're not going over the games. I'm Caboose with the Leaderboard, and today, we're gonna break down the timeline of Mortal Kombat in film and television. August 18th, 1995. The film was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who has since gone on to direct several video game movies, and produced by Lawrence Kasanoff, who served the producing role on every Mortal Kombat film and TV show ever made, albeit an executive producer in most cases, but you get the point. With Mortal Kombat, Paul Anderson wanted to make sure to have a level of authenticity with the cast. This led him to bring in actual martial artists for the roles in the film, like Robin Shou for the role of Liu Kang. The cast also featured the likes of Christopher Lambert in the role of Raiden, and of course, who could forget the legendary Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa as Shang Tsung, whose role was immortalized in several pieces of MK media, most recently appearing in Mortal Kombat 11. While the critical reception wasn't the greatest, receiving only a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, many consider the 1995 film to be a guilty pleasure. With a budget of approximately $20 million, Paul W.S. Anderson's Mortal Kombat film grossed over $120 million at the box office, holding the #1 spot for 3 weeks, becoming a massive success. It all began with this iconic film. To this day, people still claim it to hold the mantle of the greatest video game movie of all time. The unforgettable soundtrack even went platinum in under 2 weeks.
We got company.
August 29th, 1995. While the game may have been a phenomenon at the time, there were still plenty of people who were only just being introduced to the world of Mortal Kombat. That's why Turner Home Entertainment and Threshold Entertainment decided to create an animated film known as Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins. The animated film went straight to home video at the time of its release, and it was meant to act as a prequel to the feature film, familiarizing audiences with the characters and the world of MK. There was a mixture of classic 2D animation, as well as 3D CGI fights throughout. Joseph Francis directed the project, and it's his one and only credit in film, with Lawrence Kasanoff receiving a producing credit once again. At the time of its release, it also included a behind-the-scenes documentary of the feature film. 1996. The first film doing as well as it did spawned multiple projects, including the film's sequel, which we'll get to in a bit, as well as an animated series called Mortal Kombat: Defenders of the Realm, which ran for 1 season in September of 1996. The animated series was technically canon to the movie and treated as a continuation, but several things were retconned and some characters were either changed drastically or completely omitted, like Johnny Cage. The series saw characters Liu Kang, Kitana, Sub-Zero, Jax, Sonya Blade, Nightwolf, Kiva, which is supposed to be Nightwolf's spirit wolf, and Raiden defending Earthrealm from the evils of Outworld. While there are many deviations from the game/original movie, the animated series made one large stamp on the Mortal Kombat universe, that being the creation and introduction of Quan Chi, a character that has since made many appearances in Mortal Kombat games. Fans also consider this character to play a pivotal role in the lore of the games, as Quan Chi has played a massive part in the pulling of the strings behind the rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero. There's quite the voice cast behind the animated series, with actors like the late Luke Perry voicing Sub-Zero, Clancy Brown playing the Thunder God Raiden, and even Ron Perlman in the role of Curtis Stryker. While the animated series certainly has a charm to it and scratches that 90s cartoon itch, it unnecessarily changes too much from the already established lore, confusing hardcore fans of the franchise. 1997. After the first film had performed so well for the studio, they fast-tracked a sequel, Mortal Kombat: Annihilation, released in November of 1997. The film unfortunately suffered due to such a quick turnaround. Christopher Lambert didn't return for the role of Raiden, mentioning that he refused to because of a weak script. He was replaced by James Remar. Several other roles were recast as well. Bridget Wilson was replaced by Sandra Hess as Sonya Blade, and Lyndon Ashby's notable performance as Johnny Cage is missing due to the recasting of Chris Conrad. Not to mention the fact that Johnny Cage only gets about a minute of screen time in this film anyways. While the first Mortal Kombat movie didn't receive the highest critical praise, Mortal Kombat: Annihilation was completely destroyed by critics and is one of the worst reviewed films of all time, having only a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes and only one review with a fresh rating. It also severely underperformed at the box office, grossing less than half of the first movie with only $51 million on a budget of $30 million, which is $10 million more than its predecessor. The film was almost the death of live-action Mortal Kombat adaptations, but then, 1998, New Line and Threshold Entertainment decided to have one more crack at it with a live-action MK television series titled
Mortal Kombat Conquest.
The show ran for one 22-episode season from October 1998 to May of 1999. It follows the story of MK that most fans are familiar with, being the Great Kung Lao protecting Earthrealm. However, he enlisted the help of some not-so-familiar faces, introducing brand new characters like Zero and Tasia. Yeah, there's truly nothing to write home about here. This show is seen as a forgotten relic of Mortal Kombat's live-action history. 2010. It was a long 11 years before anyone tried their hand at adapting Mortal Kombat in film and television. By this time, comic book films were in full force, most notably films like Iron Man and The Dark Knight. What interested people the most about each take on the iconic superheroes was how grounded the films were, emulating a feeling as though these fantastical characters lived in the real world. This seemingly spawned a short film to be made for Mortal Kombat, taking on a similar approach. Mortal Kombat Rebirth dropped online in 2010, directed by Kevin Tancharoen, and was made completely on his dime as a fan film / passion project. The short follows Jax, as played by Michael Jai White, briefing Hanzo Hasashi, or Scorpion, on the upcoming Mortal Kombat tournament and some of the combatants he will face. The reception to this short film was so positive that Warner Bros. Reached out to the director to get to work on an official web series. 2011. The first season of this web series, Mortal Kombat Legacy, played out in an anthology format, having each episode focus on different characters and how they end up preparing for the tournament. Not much had shifted in tone from the short film, and MK Legacy still had that same grounded in reality feeling, almost to a fault. Michael Jai White returned to play Jax for a 2-part episode about him and Sonya Blade. Coinciding with the release of the web series, the franchise geared up for a full comeback as the 9th installment for the Mortal Kombat game launched in the same year. This had MK buzz in full effect, making Season 2 inevitable. 2013. Season 2 finally arrived after fans were demanding for a continuation. Unfortunately though, several roles were recast, but production value was increased, more MK characters showcased, and a whole lot of fighting made for a fun second season that most people enjoyed. What people were extremely excited for though was the official return of Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa playing Shang Tsung once again since the original film in 1995.
Shang Tsung.
At your service. Somehow I remembered you as more intimidating.
I'd say the same about this new incarnation of yours.
Well, you do as we must do.
2020. Mortal Kombat had made a complete return at this point. MKX launched in 2015 and sold over 11 million copies worldwide, and Mortal Kombat 11 recently launched in 2019 to plenty of critical praise, currently having sold 8 million copies. Riding this wave of momentum, Warner Bros. Animation released a brand new rated R animated film titled Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge. The film released on VOD, DVD, and 4K Blu-ray in April of 2020 and tells the story of Hanzo Hasashi's path to becoming Scorpion after the loss of his family and clan by the hands of Sub-Zero. While Scorpion is the central focus, the animated movie once again tells the story of the tournament with plenty of large-scale battles from all our favorite combatants. There's also a great mixture of voice actors from the games returning to voice their respective characters, such as Steve Blum as Sub-Zero or Patrick States as the titular character Scorpion, as well as recognizable actors such as Joel McHale voicing Johnny Cage and Jennifer Carpenter voicing Sonya. The film truly captured the essence of Mortal Kombat, even going so far as to incorporate the X-ray moves that we saw introduced in the recent wave of Mortal Kombat games into the animation. With high praise from critics and fans alike, many are hoping to see more of this take on the franchise. 2021. This now brings us to present day. A brand new live-action Mortal Kombat film is right around the corner, with the first trailer having debuted in February, and at the time, the trailer was the #1 most viewed Red Band trailer of all time. First-time director Simon McQuoid is at the helm, with a cast that is looking to deliver an extremely authentic experience. Hiroyuki Sanada as Scorpion, Joe Taslim as Sub-Zero, Jessica McNamee as Sonya, Mehcad Brooks as Jax, the list goes on and on. Plenty of passion seems to be pouring into this project, which has fans very excited for what's next. The one main concern people have is the introduction of a brand new character to the world of MK, Cole Young. Louis Tan takes on the role of said character, and Cole is meant to act as the main protagonist, almost being an anchor point for newcomers to Mortal Kombat. The plot revolves around a special marking that Cole Young is born with, branding him and several others chosen for the great battle between Earthrealm and Outworld. The film is set to release in theaters and on HBO Max day and date, April 23rd. Now you're all caught up. Mortal Kombat as a franchise is bigger and better than ever. While it's a surefire bet that we can expect to see more installments from the games down the road, we just have to cross our fingers for the critical and financial success of the upcoming movie to see more from that specific take. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the Leaderboard for more videos like this.